this time, we'd like to share memories and thoughts we have of Joe. And I think I'll kick it off with him by the microphone. I first met Joe, it was 1983, I believe, or maybe late 82. We had brought the C-46 to California, and we had moved it from Van Nuys up to this place way out in the boonies, way out in Camarillo, because the rent was cheap and they said the weather was good. And Joe came over to my house in Woodland Hills, Joe and Marge, and we sat down, we talked, and I gave Joe the logbooks, all the paperwork, and we had a great evening socializing, talking about airplanes. And when Joe walked out the door with that logbook, I thought, boy, a great weight has been lifted from my shoulders. I'm not the crew chief on this thing anymore. Actually, I had it easy. All I had to do was keep it ready for the guys that were going to make it fly. Now, Joe wouldn't let go. He said, you'll be there when we work on the airplane, and I was. Joe had a habit of minimizing things so that you were just anxious to jump in and do. He called me up one day and said, this is after we've been up here several years. He said, you got some vacation time? I said, yeah, next week. He said, you want to go down to Texas with a couple guys? I said, what are we going to do? He said, we're going to change the wing panel on a B-25. Okay. I thought, wing panel, piece of metal about yoke by yoke, 32 screws. Boy, what did they need me for? We went down there for about a week. The wing panel, in case you're not aware, is everything on this side of the engine. Pulled off a wing, replaced a wing, redid windows, re-rigged the airplane, and Joe was there. He knew. If we didn't know, he knew. And we got back, and I said, okay, you're going to give us a break. Very soon after that, and I was talking to Howard about this, another phone call. Hey, Ron, you got a pickup truck? Yeah, I got a small 4-range. We're going to get a couple guys together. We're going to pick up a couple things. My son Howard has a couple of things they want to give us from Northrop Surplus. Every desk, every file cabinet, every chalkboard, every whiteboard. I don't know how many trips we made back and forth bringing stuff up here. And that was before we had the big hangar. Where are we going to put it, Joe? We'll put it. So Joe, he led by example. And we often say it's kind of trite, but people with more experience than you, they say, well, he's forgotten more about airplanes than we'll ever know. Well, this isn't just something you say. That was Joe. I mean, I saw him jury-rig stuff that I thought, oh, we're going to be stuck in Texas forever. We're never going to get this airplane out. We got it out. He made it work. He made the airplane fly. So everything you see here, just about every airplane, Joe has touched. And the one time that I felt sorry for Joe was a few months ago when he was standing in the office over there looking out. And he looked out at all the maintenance going on. And I can see he was squirming. And he said, I got to get out there. I got to get out there. Those guys, I got to go out there and show those guys. Well, I think most of us learned from Joe. It was good that he came out and showed us. But a lot of the stuff we learned from Joe. So, who's first? Oh, okay.
How's everybody doing? If you don't know me, I'm Michael. I'm Joseph's grandson. And he was really special to me, and I had the great pleasure of basically coming down here and hanging out with him a lot. Ever since I was a little kid and could get my elbows in a solvent tank, he had me cleaning the dirtiest parts of whatever airplane he was working on that he could find. I think it was mostly to keep me busy, and but I enjoyed every minute of it. To be able to spend that kind of time with him had a everlasting effect on me, especially as a little kid. All little kids, you know, especially little boys, like to be around cars and planes and guns and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I got to see this place from a little red barn into what it is now, and I think I learned more from that guy than I did in all my years of school, especially history and all that stuff. And the greatest thing that I thought about my grandpa was he didn't really care who you were, and he didn't judge you. He didn't care that his grandson was a little weird and listened to music that he called noise and had tattoos and all kinds of stuff. He never treated you any less than, you know, someone that he respected. And it wasn't, as a member of his family, it wasn't hard to earn his respect because you were his family, and that's all that mattered to him. And you know, my parents, I'm not sure where they go, but you know, they probably went to some concert or something because they're a bunch of hippies. And I got left with my grandparents, and we'd get up and go out to breakfast and head to the airport, work all day, come home, and that was a really good day, and I'll never forget it. Miss him, and I'm really glad to be able to spend as much time with him as I did. And just being back in this place, even with the hangar and everything, it feels like yesterday. Feels like part of home, and I'm really thankful.